Palm Wine Central. I am one of your hosts, the rest of the Most High. You better recognize. I'm here today on what day is it today? Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with some of my good people. The ones that are not good people are not here. So you can spread that word. Okay. Tutu, how you doing?
Hey, sister girl. How are you? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. That's it. That's all I'm getting.
Oh, I'm good. I'm tired, but
come on.
my bad. I'm here. Tuesday. I'm here.
Okay, now got a little bit more energy, more footwork, more energy. Come on.
So what is this? Telling them to do footwork.
She knows what I'm talking about. If you know, you know.
You know, you know.
The listeners know what I'm talking about. Uncle Eke.
What up, though? What up?
Wagwan.
Chilling, man. Chilling with the most highest, I guess. Yeah, let's go.
I see you in solidarity with the pink shirt. That's very on brand for today's topic, though. So I don't know if that was by chance or you planned it, but I'll give you a little something there. While you're nodding, just go ahead. Actually, before you introduce the guest, let me just go in and throw in what we're going to talk about today. We'll be exploring a personal journey of fertility and reproductive health. We'll be focusing on the process of egg freezing. Joining us today is our guest, Tracey. AK will do an introduction later, and we are thankful she's been brave enough to share her story with us on her decision to freeze her eggs. Disclaimer, this is not expert advice. This is just a personal journey, someone sharing their stories. You might relate, you might not relate, just informal information in case that's a process that you're looking at or haven't thought about, just something to jolt your memory, okay? So don't go and quote us anyway, please. We are not medical experts, but we are experts at drinking palm wine. So grab your cup, let's dive in, okay? Uncle Eke, please go ahead and give a formal introduction of our guest. Carry go.
Wow. Good girl.
No further ado, Tracey, welcome to the platform. I think you do us a better service at introducing yourself. So please let the people know who Tracey is, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Tracey. Some people call me Trace, and I am I'm the firstborn Cameroonian immigrant. I was born here, but my parents were born in Cameroon. I am 43 years old. I am still single, but a years ago when I was 37 and I was still dating and feeling a lot of pressure to get married and to have children. And I noticed that I wasn't making the best decisions just because I felt like I had this biological clock that was ticking. That's when I decided to freeze my eggs. And at that time I was kind of nervous, but I'm really, really happy that I did it because I'm able to make better decisions in relationships because I know that I always will have the chance for fertility.
Man, you just answered like 4 questions out of my head in a row.
I know she did. She had my very first question. Like, okay, first, welcome. I'll say welcome first.
Thank you.
But I have so many questions. I don't even have time to greet you, girl. I'm so sorry.
Well, we can just get right. Let's just get started.
I can hold off. Uncle Eke, you got any icebreakers for us before? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Let's talk about this Dallas Cowboys. Tutu, show.
Oh dear Lord.
Show that wedding. You really woke up and decided to embarrass yourself.
What you out here being messy for?
Messy. I'm just saying.
What you out here being messy for? This happened like 2 days ago. But anyways, the best of the best. Dallas Cowboys, period.
Why are you lying? Why are you lying?
Where do you live?
Why are you lying? That's
Where
irrelevant.
do you live?
I'm in Dallas in
Thank you.
DFW.
Okay, so
And the point is,
no Dallas slander will be tolerated on this platform today. Absolutely not at all. Not while you live almost damn near close to the stadium at this point.
I do live close to the stadium, and your point is.
Anyways, okay, go ahead.
I'm just gonna ask this one question for you, and then we can move on. Really though, why are you guys so loud?
Like as in women?
No, not women. I mean
Dallas Cowboy fans.
I don't think we're loud. I really honestly don't think we're loud. You know who's loud? The Commanders fans. You know who's loud? The Ravens fans. You know who else is loud? Everybody else that sucks.
So you don't even have to do that much, girl. Just tell him because everything is bigger in Texas. That's
simple.
It.
That's just what it is. Like that's just what it really is. Honestly, I don't think we're loud. I just think that we're just America's favorite team, and that's just what it is. You either get with it or you don't get with it. I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you.
You either get it or you don't.
That's a damn shame, man. On you guys' owner's birthday, you can't even.
Jerry Jones, I know, on his 82nd birthday, but it doesn't matter because guess what? He's still the owner. That's all that matters.
Same way as you guys are still the fans, and you having the heartbreaks every year. Every year, guys are going to the Super Bowl. Every year, go to the Super Bowl. Every year, go to the Super Bowl.
What's your team? What's your team?
Commanders.
Since when?
It's always been a Commanders.
Since when?
I've always been a Commander fan. Remember,
always. He don't even watch American football. So what are you even talking about?
Remember, I always say it's so sad because all my teams, the teams I support, wear red and they suck. I always say that. Manchester United, the Commanders, those are my teams. So, I mean, I'll be mad because your team always said they'll make it to Super Bowl.
Story. I never heard about this Commanders team all of a sudden.
Nah, don't worry. Trace, what's your football team?
Oh, I'm not a huge football fan, so I can't say that I rep any. But I'll go to a game though and watch it. But I don't follow.
See, what's your own?
What?
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ and his
exactly. That should tell you exactly where I stand.
Jesus Christ and his disciples.
All right.
The only game I know is the game of the kingdom of the Lord. That's the only game I know. Please.
You never watch soccer?
No, I don't. I really do not. No, I'm not a big football.
Are you not a sports girly?
I'll do tennis.
Oh,
that's about it.
Okay.
I played tennis in college, so but that's about it. I don't know. Why would I sit and watch people play sports? That don't make no sense to me.
Did you have special rackets made for you?
No, I was not that rich. I was not that rich. What do you mean special? I mean, I use the regular size. See that? I got the regular size rackets.
Do this.
I'm not doing it. I was cute in my little white skirt.
Period. That's right.
Okay. I'm done trolling. Let's get back to the topic at hand.
African, Cameroonian, egg freezing. Jesus. Let me just go back. Minus, I know you said already that you were trying to make responsible decisions. Where were you emotionally? Where you sat like, because it's not a common thing for us Africans, right? And granted, you grew up here, but like, where were you emotionally, mentally to be able to sit and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do?
So I think I went through a lot of emotions. I could say that like maybe embarrassment and shame. Like why did I get to this age, not married, not have a relationship, and like why was this something that I had to do, right? I'm a believer, so I also thought to myself, okay, well, if I do this, does it mean that I don't have faith in God? Because, in the Bible, it says that no one shall be barren in this land. So, and it also says that you shall be fruitful and multiply. So I'm a believer of the word. And so I was saying, okay, well, if I do this, is this, in opposite of what I know God will already do for me? Am I trying to, use man to like make something happen that I know God is going to do for me? So there was that. So thinking, oh, does this make me not a good Christian by going ahead and doing this? But I think that above all those feelings, I knew that I wanted children. I did not want to be at a point in my life where I did get married, or be at the point where I did get married and then having children was not an option for me. Not birthing my own children was not an option for me. So since I had the money, I was just like, so let me make some options for myself. And also, like I said before, not wanting to rush into any relationships, because like I have friends now that, they were getting married when I was 37 and they're divorced. And I do believe that, once you get before 40, you make some decisions that you might not necessarily make just because you're ready for your life to start life in, or for you to start checking off boxes in your life.
Now, how did your Christian community, family, was there any supports? Did you have any pushbacks? What were people feeling?
So honestly, I didn't really tell many people. So I told my sister, I told my coworkers maybe, but I didn't really tell a lot of people when I was going through it, what I was doing. So I think I maybe told 4 people, 5 at the top. Mm-hmm.
When you thought about it, did you ever think, like when you first thought about it, did you think like, I'm scared this is a mistake and maybe I don't want to do this anymore? Like, did you ever have fears? Did you ever have like doubts or,
So the fears and the doubts, like I started Googling and I got in these Facebook groups. The fears and the doubts came from like what they say the process is supposed to do to people. Like you read somebody will talk about how you'll lose a lot of, like you'll gain a lot of weight, you'll go through all these emotional ups and downs, you'll start acting crazy because of the hormones. So it was that, or what the side effects of the process was going to be, that kind of had me anxious and like, are you sure you want to do this?
Now, see that, I mean, you mentioned something about that the whole, one of the reasons that you did this was the pressure of getting married and having kids. Tutu, is that something that you're getting, seeing that you're in the 3rd floor? Is that something you're getting? Would you consider freezing your eggs?
Actually, I've heard a lot about it. And I mean, it's something that I would have to really sit down and think about it. But the way that this dating game is going is real good out here, child. So I don't know. I might just have to be on board with that too. Because, I mean, you see like how it is nowadays. It's just, like she was saying, she saw people get married and now they're divorced. And like people always say, be careful who you have kids with, because it's not easy. And, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you think it's all fairy tales and rainbows and stuff, and then boom, you have a situation. You get what I'm saying? So it's not, when you're making life choices like that, it's a serious thing that you want to actually sit down and think about, like, okay, who this person is that I'm actually bringing another life into this world with. So for me, honestly, I mean, it's something I'm not too like, educated about it, but I'm happy that Trace is on here to actually educate us about it. So that way I can kind of do further information about it, because I've heard about it, but I've never actually really got into like the nitty gritty of what it is. So
to that point of yours, for example, DJ Mustard and his wife, what they're going through right now, the divorce, right? You've been with somebody for so long, you then feel like you know them the back of your hand. But then now when it comes down to this, it's like a whole different picture. So at this point in time, do you still really know who you have your kids with, or does it really even matter if at some point they can switch like that?
I think it still matters. Oh, sorry, you were talking to Tutu. I thought that question was going to say. No, I think it still does matter, right? There's a difference between how events turn out and you consciously making a choice, right? Because if at the beginning somebody was not, you didn't see those red flags, and it's something that developed at the end of the day, you really never know if someone's going to be a shitty dad or a shitty mom until that key comes around, right? And so at that point, it's not on you. But if you see somebody who is already looking sideways and then you still choose to go, then that's on you. I just don't think that egg freezing will solve that problem. I think it's just at think it's an empowering option for women.
Yes.
And I think that it's something that us as women should start considering even at much younger age.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, regardless, the eggs are going to waste, right? I know it's a whole system that goes into it and stuff. And I wish, probably we'll talk about this down the line, I wish insurance is something that it would cover from a young age.
Yeah.
But if that became an option, I think it would be a very powerful tool for women.
Yeah.
I also think. Oh, sorry. Oh, me go. Oh, I also think that Trace, I can relate to you because I'm a first generation. I was born here. My parents are from Sierra Leone, so I can relate in that aspect of like I think we also need to like take into consideration that I always say this. I'm big on saying this, that we need to switch up this African mentality that like our parents had and our aunties and uncles and all them people had, because I'm pretty sure if I was to open my mouth right now and sit here and tell my mom I'm trying to freeze my eggs, that lady would look at me like, excuse me? Like, what do you mean you're trying to freeze your eggs? You don't think you can, like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, in order to get her to understand, like, girl, I'm trying to sit here and tell you that this dating world is shitty out here and you're not listening to me. Right. So at the end of the day, you talk about you want some grandbabies. How you gonna get them grandbabies if I ain't got a man? You know what I'm saying? So it's like certain things, if I'm sitting here doing things or going this direction or going this route to kind of, give myself the opportunity or chance to even be able to have kids, I feel like as if it should be kind of more of a supportive thing. But I think we just also need to, and like I said, I'm really excited that you are actually on here because I think this information needs to go out. And I think that the mentality of some of our African elders kind of need to, because I don't think they actually really know a lot about this. If we're being quite honest, I don't think so. I just wanted to just run that by, because when you said, first generation, I just automatically thought about like, if I was to really put myself in this predicament, how would my dad handle it? How would my parents handle it? How my family handle it and stuff like that? Because support is obviously a big thing about it. So just wanted to, yeah. But you said
that's why you don't tell them.
She said she only told like about 4 people, right?
Yeah.
About 4 people. And just about 4 people. I think I told my sisters knew and my coworkers knew because we were going on a trip and I had to take my medicine with me. So I had like this big cooler. She was like, what in the world is that? And I was like, oh, I have to start injecting myself with my hormones. And so that's why she knew. So yeah.
While you had it, just tell us the process. Like, what was the process like? And maintaining your body now, is it something extra you got to do? But most of all, I'm curious, right?
So the process was really, really strange for me. Just because like I am thinking that I'm just freezing my eggs. But Shady Grove Fertility is like a factory, right? And so because they're a factory, they kind of took away the human element of something that was just so sensitive to me. So like,
Shady Grove, sorry, Shady Grove.
Shady Grove Fertility, yes. And so they're like a big business, right? And so one of the things, like as I was getting older, I was doing a lot of things just to preserve my fertility. And one of them was like I wasn't on birth control. So immediately when I started the process and they told me to get on birth control, I'm like, what? Why am I getting on birth control? Like those hormones, like they're supposed to, they kind of, everything I've heard is that they alter your reproductive system while I'm getting on birth control. And so like, they kind of like dismiss you as like everything's like in and out, in and out. No one really talks to you about anything. There's just like, take this, take this, take this. So I had ended up talking to someone that I knew before who had gone through the process of freezing her embryos. And she was just like, she explained to me, like, you got to remember, you're thinking like this is like a life-altering decision. And to them, this is a business and numbers and success rates. So they basically put you on birth control. They never explained that to me, but they put you on birth control because when you're on birth control, it regulates. So when you're ovulating, what phase of your ovulation is, everything is clockwork. It's like there's no more science. There's no more, Mother Nature into it, it becomes science to put you on a cycle.
Kind of like to manipulate the process.
Exactly. So what they were doing was putting me on a cycle, and then they would come in and they would test my hormones and stuff. So they would know exactly when I was ovulating. So I had to do that like a couple of months prior, and then they stopped when they were able to understand my rhythm, and that's when I started. But like I say, it's like a well-oiled machine. Everything is you do this, you do this, you do this, because they are about getting results. And like when you sit down and do your first consultation, that's the first conversation that they have with you is about their results. So yeah, so I had that, and then they tell you about the packages. So there's several different packages. They say, oh, when you're a certain age, they suggest you do this package or that package. So for my age, the suggestion was that, I'm sure it's different now, that I do 3 rounds of medication, 3 surgeries in order for me to get how many eggs did they want me to get? They wanted me to get 30 eggs. Right. And they said the likelihood with those 30 eggs is that for every 10 eggs, it's predicted that you might get one child. So so they wanted me, like, if I wanted to like have 3 children, using those eggs, then they said that I should have 30.
Hold on,
Right.
time out. Sorry.
He said time out.
There's so much to unpack there. First of all, so you're saying that when you go in, they extract the number of eggs depending on how many kids you want to have?
So no, they just extract the eggs. And because they've done this for so long, they said the probability of getting one child per every 10 eggs. But like, I know someone who did her process, and she was my same age. She did it one time and she got like 70 eggs. But there can also be another person I know who did it when they were 28. She did it several times and she was only able to get 1 egg, which is a really sad story because she ended up trying to implant that egg and it didn't take, which all she had was 1. So yeah.
All right, Trace, break this down for us.
Okay.
When do you say they go and they harvest 30 eggs and 70 eggs? Like break that down for us. What does that mean? Is it that all in one session? Is that over a couple of weeks?
Yeah. So basically what happens in the process, if I know it was a while ago, but for about 12 days, you're pumping yourself with medication, hormones, right? You're pumping yourself with medication. So, every month we ovulate in our reproductive system, like we drop eggs, right? But just because we drop eggs doesn't mean that those eggs are prime optimal to be fertilized and produce children, right? So we have some good eggs, we have some bad eggs, right? However, so what happens is when you're getting your eggs frozen, instead of those eggs just dropping and going to waste, they basically time it so you have surgery and they remove those eggs from your body and then they put them on ice. So they remove the eggs from their body, they put them, and then they check them and say, okay, which one of these eggs are like optimum for fertilization? And then the ones that are optimum for fertilization, they take, and then the rest of them they throw away.
Okay, that makes sense. So this surgery for retrieval, is it vaginal? Is it invasive? Like, is it an outpatient procedure?
I can't even tell you what it is because all I remember is being on a stretcher and then waking up.
Girl, that would scare me.
Yeah, it was literally like that. I was there and then I woke up and I was done. So yes, you do go under some anesthesia. It's like maybe like 2 or 3 hours and then you're back.
But there's no incision, no cut, no nothing. Right?
No.
Okay, so I'm assuming they probably went through
Vaginal, probably.
I'm sure it's vaginal, but what happened, I have not a clue.
And you did this 3 times? You say you have to do it 3 times?
Okay, so I paid for 3 times. However, I ended up getting 28 eggs. So after my second time, I got 28 eggs. The first time I got 14. The second time I got 14. Okay, no, the first time I got 20, and then 14 of them were good. And then the second time, I don't remember. I think I got 16, and then 14 of them were good. So yeah, so I have 28. And so when I got 28 and they suggested 30, I was just like, you know what? Because they give you a refund if you don't go through all the cycles. So I was just like, yeah, give me my money back. We're good. They were like, you should get a. They told me, you might as well just get a refund and, you know, stay with it. Yeah.
Talk to me about timelines from your first consultation to retrieval. How long was that?
I would say probably I went in like May-ish, and my first retrieval was August.
Oh, same year.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty quick.
I think that, like I said, I had the money to do it. So I'm not gonna lie, the money it not only does it cost. So one thing, the reason why I didn't do it sooner is because like I thought that when I paid all this money for this process, it included the medication as well. Oh no, 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 it did not. But what I can say about this process is that after buying the medication, like say like everything is time. So like you're taking medication, they're looking at it, they're like, oh, you might not be ready yet. And the nurse will be like, do you have any more medicine? I'm like, no. They're like, okay, we have some. And they'll give you some medicine just to finish, because it's like everyone's going through this situation. And so like when I didn't use all my medicine, I gave it to them to like give to the next person. Because I know on one of my cycles, I didn't have enough medication and they loaned me some. So, but it's all during the process, like while they're waiting for the egg retrieval, you have to go to Shady Grove every single day to like for them to check your vitals.
Do you have to be in like shape, like diet, exercise? Is there like when you go to like get any type of procedure, whether it be like a BBL or whatever, you got to be like medically clear and whatnot? Is there?
So yes, you do have to be medically clear. That was another hiccup that I had. I could not, because I was anemic at the time. I was having difficulties getting medically cleared. So finally, my doctor was just like it's okay, you can get it done. Even though I never, I never really made the count of my blood count. Never really got to the level where they thought I was okay to do it, but then I had my doctor, she okayed it. So yeah, all your iron levels got to be tip top.
Oh, well then to count me out. This is the girl. Whoo, child. My iron levels are too.
So yeah,
they'll give you supplements.
Yeah, because it wasn't super evasive. Like I know some people that can't get BBLs because their iron levels were so low. Because it wasn't super evasive. That's where I think they went ahead and let me get it. Because I think we waited a month, and then we waited 2 months, and after 2 months, I still my iron levels still didn't go up, and so we just went ahead and did it.
Can't imagine not BBL because your iron levels are low.
Yeah, people forget it's a medical procedure. So
yeah, I need to be doing my research, because I always thought obviously you have to get medically cleared, but I didn't know about the whole iron thing. Because let me just count all that stuff out, because I can't do none of that.
So that was just the iron thing is a big thing, because they don't want to operate,
That's true.
See, I had at some point considered, I had thought about freezing my eggs, right? My only thing was, my insurance wouldn't cover it, right? Unless,
and they don't.
Yeah, the only reason that they would cover it is if it's for if it's for infertility treatment,
right? Yeah.
And so I'm like, I have to be actually TTC,
right,
to get it, and I'm like, then that defeats the whole purpose, because that whole thing is not just for trying to conceive, like you in the future, but they wouldn't cover it, and I'm not paying for this shit out of pocket.
Right.
But then it sounds like you did. Just give us a ballpark number. So medication, surgery, everything, and your storage.
So so this was 6 years ago. So it was $18,000. I'm sure it costs way more now. I would say the medication for both times, I think the medication came up to about maybe $8,000, maybe $7,000.
Is it part of 18,000?
No, this is not a part of the 18. This is in addition to. in addition to. When I first started the first month you pay the first year you pay a flat fee for egg preservation. When I first started, it was $55 a month. Now it's $80 a month to preserve the eggs. So yeah, it's costly, but I think it's the girl.
Do you pay insurance on it too?
What?
Huh?
Do you pay insurance on it too?
No, you don't pay any insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
What them people say? Fuck them kids.
Listen, I'm just a girl. Like, why? Why is this so expensive being a girl? This is
Right.
If you even think, to be honest, I mean it's costly. But to be honest, if you look at it in the long run, especially for someone who's looking at having biological kids, right? That would save you. That's less than surrogacy.
Right.
You know, it's less than the issue of having to find an egg donor and all those kind of things. So all so in the long run, I think it's financially cost effective, but I don't know.
Right.
Out of pocket though, listen, somebody put that on their campaign policy about adding all these things because there's so many things that I feel like are pertinent to women's reproduction.
Right.
That should be covered in insurance, and I don't know why it's not on any politician's policy bill. But because we shouldn't, no woman should have to pay for that out of pocket.
Right.
We shouldn't have to. So, but they put in gender affirming surgeries on insurance, but they can't give us egg freezing. Like, come on, now, what are we doing?
It's ridiculous.
Say what?
Dr. Camila.
This is my petition to the politicians out there. Please give us women more options, reproductive options on the insurance. I think that, but yeah, that's.
And so a lot of, I have a lot of aunts that are not married, don't have children. Like, and when they hear it, they're like, oh, they wish they would have done that. So, it in the moment, I really thought about the money, but like not anymore, just because people that are older than me have said, wow, like, I've been affirmed for my decision. So recently one of my coworkers, she had a baby, just turned one, she's 50. And so she was telling me how one of her neighbors who was 55, now God's going to satisfy me early, so I'm not going to be 55, but who was 55, had gotten married, and she unfroze her eggs, and she was able to have twins. So, stories like that keep me, like, I was like, oh, this is the reason why I did it. So,
speaking of stories, because as I'm listening to that last bit right there, I can only think about a conversation you will have with a potential baby daddy or husband, right? Can you tell about that? I should think about it. I should process it now in real time.
So I think that like I am Cameroonian, and I tend to date no shade on the intelligence of Cameroonian men. However, like when I do talk about it, it's like they have no idea what I'm like. They don't get what they don't even know what I'm talking. Like freezing your eggs, what does that mean? And I'm just like, because they'll say things like, aren't you in a rush to have children? Like, why aren't you going to get pregnant and stuff like that? I was like, well, I froze my eggs. And they're like, what does that mean? Like, they have no idea. So I can't say that. I think men in general, and I'm not even going to say Cameroon, I think men, period, like they really don't understand like what that means when someone says that. Like they don't understand what it means to preserve your fertility.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a man, what I'm saying, sitting right here. And I'm never going to lie to you. Like, when I hear it, honest truth, I hear difficult conversations that I don't even want to be a part of.
Right. Yes. And I also think that, like growing up, and I can just say this because I just know a lot of women who have like struggled to have children. Growing up, it seemed like we were just trying to be so sure not to get pregnant. We didn't realize that it's not that easy to get pregnant. It's not really easy. They say it takes you at least maybe a year of trying to actually like get pregnant. So when you think about that, that's 12 months of actually trying, and then you still might not get pregnant because of the rhythm, and because there's all the signs to it. And then there's, are you eating well? Are you this? Are your hormones? Are you doing this? So like when you talk about preserving fertility, like that's just another reason to do it too, an added bonus, because you just never know like what your pregnancy journey is going to be like. Women don't get their ovarian reserve checked, so they don't even know. Like you could be a 21-year-old but have like the ovarian reserve of a 90 someone who's 90. So if you want to get pregnant, it's going to be really, really difficult. Where you could be like someone who was my age who had a really, really good ovarian reserve, right? And so that's why I didn't have all those episodes of the extreme weight gain and all the mood swings, because my nurse was like, it didn't take that much hormones to pump out the eggs that I needed because they were already there.
See, okay, to your point about that difficult conversation, right? I think it's not just because people are men, well, not people, but that the men are men and they have no clue about it. I just think society as a whole, right, is very judgmental on women for things like that. As soon as you say, I'm thinking about freezing my eggs, people hear, I'm selfish. I just want now to enjoy life. I don't want to have no babies. Or they start thinking, oh, so you cannot have kids. Like, what is the problem? Like, they start looking at you with very judgy eyes. And people look at you different when you mention things like that. They're like, okay, where's she going with that? What kind of woman are you trying to be? Or there's this big one that comes even amongst women saying, oh, if you have to freeze your eggs to have kids, it's like that makes you less of a mother than someone who conceives naturally through. So it's just, I feel like it's just all these things in society. And sometimes the men are not even the biggest problem. It's the women that are the most judgmental. Like if you are a real woman, you get pregnant, right? Did you ever get anything like that, Tracey, in your journey?
No, I don't. I actually never got any like negativity about it. Everything was positive. I think the most negative thing I heard that even had to do with the whole process was probably like from my mom, that she was just like, well, I mean, you froze your eggs. What are you waiting for? Give me grandchildren. That wasn't the point of me freezing my eggs. Me freezing my eggs was a guarantee that when the time was right and I got married or met someone that I want to have children with, it would not be that it couldn't be done. Right. So,
yeah, so in this particular moment right now, do you get pregnant?
Am I what?
Do you get pregnant right now?
Can I get pregnant? Mm-hmm. Like naturally?
Naturally, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I would have to go to the doctor and check my ovarian reserve because I've never tried to get pregnant naturally. So I can't say that I can't get pregnant naturally. I don't know that. No.
That's what my confusion is a little bit, right? Because right now, so let's say, for example, if you go freeze your eggs, does that mean that you can go about now letting dudes shoot up the club?
No, so the eggs are still gonna come. Okay. What they did was just that month when the eggs came, they took them all out. So the eggs will still come, and just out of the eggs that you have, it's not. I don't know, like when I was young, there was this movie called Look Who's Talking, and the first clip of the movie was like where the people were having sex, right? But when they were having sex, they're actually like were in the woman's body, and in the woman's body there were all these eggs, right? And then there were all this sperm like swimming to the egg, like trying to get through, like trying to push through. And so like some didn't, because and then when the sperm didn't push through, like you didn't get pregnant. And so like it happened again, and like their sperm was like, I gotta get in there, I gotta get in there, I gotta get in there. And so finally the sperm gets through, and then a woman comes pregnant. So yeah, your eggs will drop every month regardless. And that's when I talk about the ovarian reserve is like, what are the quality of your eggs that are dropping? And so what happens is that as you get older, less eggs drop per month. That means less chances of getting pregnant because not all of those eggs will end up getting fertilized when you do happen to have sex with your significant other. So that is the part about age that kind of limits your chances of fertility. I think another thing that is very important is like, so you can go and get pregnant at 35, and at 35 the doctors call that geriatric pregnancy, and geriatric is like means old. And so what, and it's so funny because research or medical practices are based on research. And so we are in a time now where women who are 40, who are 50 are trying to have children. There is not much research on women having children past the age of, I guess would say 38, because like that just wasn't known. Like women weren't having children at 38. By 38, they were ready to like, take their children off to college because, historically women were having children like in their 20s, and a lot of times by 30 that they were done. So there isn't even really much, and I learned this going through Shady Grove, there isn't even really much research on women and their fertility past the age of 35.
So say you do get, this might be a slow question. I don't know. I didn't really think this properly. But well, anyways, say you do get pregnant naturally. Right. What happens to your eggs now? Like,
they still stay there.
Oh, you don't get a refund?
No.
Girl,
no. So another reason I was just like, I'll do this. Like, I have two sisters. They have the same genes. Like, I'm like, my sisters can use my eggs, so they'll be there for like, the whole family, not the whole family, but, if my sisters ever needed eggs,
just in case, yeah.
They could have them. I didn't, like when I did this was just like insurance, I guess. It was never my thought that I wasn't going to have children naturally, but it was just like, what if I wanted more than one, or what if I wanted more than two than I had?
What is your sentimental attachment to those frozen eggs right now?
What is my sentimental attachment to them? I do not have any sentimental attachment to them. I do pray over them, just because, like you said, like you could unfreeze them, and I know someone who used her one egg and it didn't, nothing happened. So I pray over them. I pray that that God will set them when the time come that they need to be used, like they would be purpose for what they were intended for. That my expectations for what the eggs were intended for when I fall short, like they will just do more than, those eggs will do more than I could even think or imagine. So maybe those eggs, if I used one, they might split into 3 and give me triplets. I don't know. So I do pray over them, but to say I have any sentimental, no. If Shady Grove burned down, God forbid, then I'd be pissed. But just because I use them. But yeah, I don't think I have any sentimental attachment to them.
Okay. Piggybacking off of that, when say you meet the love of your life, because you manifest, you're gonna meet the love of your life soon, and then you decide to go ahead and go ahead and retrieve the eggs, or go ahead and put the eggs to use. And then do you have any fears, like any risks? Like, are you scared because of your age? Because I know you did speak about like somebody being older and it didn't work out as well. So do you have any fears, any doubts because of your age?
So no. So the person that didn't work for her, she actually wasn't, she was like, maybe it wasn't an age thing. It was just the quality of her eggs. So no, I don't have any fear. Like once you see, I watched this one. I was watching Apostle Selma, and there was a lady who was 75, and she just gave birth to triplets naturally. Like once you see things like that happening, you're like, my mom, she had my last sister like pretty up there in age, and I've heard stories, not even now, but back then, where people were in their 40s, late 40s, 50s having children. So I'm pretty confident that if that's what is supposed to be my story, like it will happen.
We're manifesting it. Amen. You see that lady? She's 64 talking about she's pregnant. Right. So at this point, yeah.
Just start in the Bible. I always go with that one because it came from the Bible.
Exactly.
Right. It was what, 99? No quote
Yeah,
me.
99. Elizabeth
Yeah,
was
and I,
old too.
Yeah. When you do decide to use your eggs,
Hmm.
let's say if you use them, there is still another extra charge to go insert them in, right?
Yes, there is. Now, what that charge is, so basically what I did was I did half of IVF. So IVF is the full process, obtaining the eggs and then putting them back, obtaining your eggs, taking your husband's sperm, putting it together, creating an embryo, and then implanting the embryo in your body, right? Um, so I did half of that. So if I were to then either create the embryo outside in a plant and then put the embryo in my body, or even just put the eggs inside my body, yes, that is going to be an additional cost. So IVF is on like I think in the like 100,000s. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where I
it's price tag already.
That's a lot. And it's crazy because you're saying that it's like so high in that price and women go through that like multiple rounds. So just imagine the amount of money that they're spending just
multiple rounds.
that's crazy.
Yeah, multiple rounds. That's why, like, I think we were talking about before, like, some women, like, go out of the country to get it done. But, like, and they do it everywhere. Like, I know a woman who, like, she did it, like, in Nigeria maybe 4 times. Her last time, her fifth time, she ended up getting triplets. One of them died, but she has twins. So, yeah.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Tracey, I want to applaud you, right? Thank you so much for like your bravery, just sharing your personal story. But I have this for you. At the beginning, when you say you started this whole thing, you only told a handful of people, right?
Mhm.
And now you're very vocal about that. Was there a shift in your reasoning? Like, oh, is there a particular reason, or it's just okay? I'm done now. There's no problem. Like,
So I think that like just in my like I've gone through a journey. I felt like I felt a lot of shame, right? Because I never wanted to be that old and not married, right? Not alone, like, okay, it's bad enough, Tracy, you're not married. Now um you gotta freeze your eggs to make sure when you get married, you can have kids. So I was really embarrassed by the fact that I had to do it. Like I knew I had to do it and I wanted to do it to preserve my fertility and to make sure that my dreams did come true. But I was battling with the fact that I felt I was sad, embarrassed, ashamed that I had to do it. Right. But now I'm on the point, like, I feel like God puts people on this earth for a reason and everyone has their own story, and I feel like everything that I've gone through is going to be my testimony. So like I'm proud of it because there's someone's going to say, oh, when I do have my children, when I am married, when I do have a family, they're going to be like, I remember Tracy when she was talking about freezing her eggs, and like look at what God has done for me, done for her, and then maybe God can do the same thing for me. So I think that was the shift, like understanding, like, I was purposed for this, and it wasn't just to keep it inside, like to share with other people what I did, why I did it, and to let people know that, in your seasons of wait, there are things that you can do that make you feel like you're waiting a little bit better. You're less anxious during your wait, because God forbid that you would do all this waiting, and then because you want to have children, that you would go ahead and marry your enemy and then and have to deal with that person for 18 years.
is there any lessons that you've drawn from going through this process?
Um, I think that yes, do not listen to social media, what people say about fertility journeys. I like there at this time, like I had watched this. What it was? It was this Netflix show called Friends from College, and one of them were having problems having a child, and like the girl had like was going through in vitro and like did like I was just so anxious because I was listening, I was reading too much, like I was on information overload about this process, and it made me more anxious. And like I remember like my sister calling my other sister like when I was injecting myself because I was like, did I do the needle right? Is this right? She was just like, go check on her, make sure she's calm, because Like during when I was injecting myself with the needles, like I was so paranoid that I was going to do something wrong and that like the eggs wouldn't work. And then like I was just so paranoid because I had all of this information about other people's journey in my head that I didn't even know how to manage my own journey.
Earlier, you mentioned managing your emotions through this process, right? And some things that you had to consider or do as you're going through this process. What are some of those things that, you've been doing this far to manage your emotions as, you?
So I used to be in a lot of Facebook fertility groups. I cut that out. Like I can't read about other people's journey, what they said did work, what doesn't work, the statistics, all of this stuff. I can't do that because this is just going to make me worry. Like when I do get these eggs, are they going to work? Are they going to be shriveled up like raisins? As this, it's just like, I don't need I can't think about what's happening to those eggs. And when I do get them, are they going to work? And so a lot of those Facebook groups, that's all they do is talk about fertility and just seeking fertility. And like, it's like this great race. But reading that stuff it's kind of mentally draining. So I used to be in a lot of groups, a lot of information that was doing a lot of information sharing. And I really don't, I cut all of that out. I do make sure that like my body is as I get older, that my body is healthy to carry moon. So I do take, vitamins and take care of my body and, like do the things that are supposed to be good for fertility, like drink okra water. But that's just good for my health in general. But I really get away from those fertility specific groups or chats. Yeah. Because that would just drive you crazy.
Do people take out loans for this?
So yeah, so you really do. You can take out loans. There are like you can do care credit. Shade Grove has a loan. What I did is I got a credit card and I just put on my credit card. And I think it was one of those credit cards that had like no APR for the first year and a half, and I just paid it off. Mm-hmm.
Then what misconceptions about this whole process do you think people get wrong?
I think the biggest misconceptions is that like you'll gain weight and you'll be crazy. And people don't understand that depends on the amount of hormones that you need. And anybody that's injected with hormones is going to have a different response, but everyone doesn't have the same response from being for going through the fertility process. And I know that was one of the things that I was particularly scared of, just because they basically said I would be like cussing people out. I would be on an emotional roller coaster, but I never experienced any of that because, like I said, I didn't need as much hormones.
Okay, because I was about to ask. So when they're injecting you with hormones,
I inject myself.
When you're injecting yourself, because when you were just talking about, I guess you just answered it, because I'm about to say, us women that when we get our menstrual, we're already hormonal as it is, and we already start acting crazy. So like you injecting yourself with hormones, are you still? I don't know if it's too much to ask. Are you still getting a menstrual while you're also, or no?
Yes, because if you don't get your menstrual cycle, you don't.
Oh, then you can't. Right. So
everything is around your menstrual cycle. That's how they time it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but you said you didn't really act out. Oh, you strong girl. You a strong soldier because.
Yeah. And so that's when I remember talking to my nurse about it. And she was just like, yeah, that depends on the amount of hormones. Like, cause some people are like, they're injecting them with hormones because they want those follicles to move and to produce all of these eggs. High quality. Yeah.
Man.
So, on the stigma associated with it, right? Or the little stigma that is still associated with it. How can we demystify this at this given junction, right? Or better yet, from a woman to a man's perspective, what is something? Now, the first question stands, and then the second question is, what is something or two things that you want us men to understand about this process that we do not?
I think kind of what T said, like it's not okay. Yes. When you freeze your eggs doesn't mean you don't have any more left. to do anything with. Like they're not all packed up away and like you automatically become barren. Because I think a lot of guys think that, oh well, she did away with her eggs anyway, so like kind of what you said, like you could just be having sex raw. No, like you're preserving you're taking what is already happening every month and keeping it away. And I think that I think it's important that women know that it's not something to be ashamed of. Like it is like, I think that as women, when we get to a certain age, it's hard to come to terms that we have not achieved what we might have wished we wanted when we were a little girl, right? And so I think instead of feeling powerless, it actually empowers you to say, okay, well, let me go ahead and do this.
Well, with that statement you just made, right? Let me ask you this. Since we're talking about power, that comes with responsibility, yeah? Mm-hmm. So as you're doing this, when you start having those conversations, right, about kids and everything, are you bringing half the proceeds that we're supposed to use to pay for this? Or are you leaving that to the men? To the men.
Well, I think that if I am married and it so happens that we want to use this, we should share in this together. And so what I'm thinking is that, like, this is my thought, that at the time that I would need to use it, it would be a medical necessity, and then insurance would pay for it.
Insurance will pay for it at that time. Yeah, they will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I won't have to worry about that at that time.
I mean, I'm just saying because,
That's a fair question, I think.
Yeah, because it's a group of women who would hear this and go, oh, okay, I can do this, without thinking about the other side of it, right? That, oh, you're not going to have that conversation. You're just going to wake up one day magically and expect somebody to just understand it because you made that decision. But that's right. Not the case, right? So just making sure that, okay, if there is a cost associated with IVF at the end, and I heard you mention 100,000, like, not just that, these kids also have to grow up and go through school, right? All these different costs that, comes with it. I'm just hoping that they are willing and able to have that conversation, right? Knowing fully and owning it, taking accountability that this was my decision, and 9 out of 10 times I'm supposed to lead in this versus take, like the backseat and expect the men to just drive and understand everything.
I think that goes back to having a conversation though before you even get to that stage of being with somebody. Like, hey, this is the situation. This is what I did before. Say if she did this before she met the man or whatever the situation was. Like, hey, this is what I did. Because then again, this is a serious like situation. So you're not just having a conversation with just any Jack and Jill. Like, it's right. If you see yourself being with somebody in the long haul, and this is the person that you want to be with for the rest of your life, then hey, this is what I did. It's either you on or you off. If you're not, then I mean, it is what it is.
And it's been my experience, like, as I think about my friends and people that I know, when it does come to this, the men are just on as bored in this situation as the women. Like, they want that child just as much, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get the child.
Okay, let me flip that your script that you tendered in, right? Mm-hmm. And I understand.
Oh, not the froze.
That you're right. Sometimes the long haul conversation, right? Also, another side of it is, if as a man you are approaching a woman who is in her prime, I think you should be realistic to yourself that you are going to need help when it comes to having kids and fertility, right? Don't just think and this is not to say that, to bring any woman down at any certain age, right? But if you're approaching a woman who's closer to her 40s and 40-something, you should already have educated yourself in your mind. Don't think it's going to be all blossoms and cherries when you come over here, right? Now this is real shit. We're going to have to put some elbow grease into this process, right? So come prepared as well. Don't have any illusions as to what it is, because I know, and I'm sorry to say this, sometimes men are brand new.
They do.
So don't come over here, see me in my 40s. I'm talking about IVF, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we can do that naturally. Now hold on, go get yourself a book or something.
Right, because like I said, like even they don't talk about how hard it is to actually get pregnant. Because they and our whole and up until our college years, we spent most of our time trying not to get pregnant. They don't talk about like it's not that easy unless there are some people that are like fertile myrtles and like someone can look at them and they can be pregnant. But yeah, like I just had a friend, like it took them 6 years and nothing was wrong with any of with the dad or the mom. It just wasn't happening. But now they have their beautiful baby. We thank God. But yeah, so we really underestimate that. And it's not talked about enough. Neither is other ways to preserve your fertility.
If you have somebody come up to you and tell you that they already they froze their eggs and this is what they want to do, what you saying? How you acting?
Well, I'm acting two different ways, right? If I got bread, this is a conversation we're about to have. You know what I mean? Let's sit down and have this conversation because I'm thinking of it from a financial aspect of it. You know what I mean? Again, me, I don't eat love. So anybody can miss me with that. You know, I'm looking at it from a financial aspect. So if it does not make sense in my head, I'll just pass me on that slowly. I'll just save myself the heartache and just go my merry way so she could go her merry way too. But if I know that, I can handle this conversation, why not? I mean, I'll talk about it, especially, So for me,
but is it more of the finances is a big part of it. But after a while, do you think that, okay, I actually just really do want a child? Like, so would you ever think like, okay, fuck the finances, I want a kid? Like, would you ever see it that way or nah? You're just like, if I got it, I got it. If I don't, then
no, because for me, having a kid, like contrary to other people that say, "Oh, you just don't have with any kind of person." I agree, but also too, you really don't also know what people are like. You know what I mean? So for me, yeah, I'll have my kids, man, regardless. Like I know the streamers work, so I'll just and then keep moving. So yeah.
So because your swimmers work, you'll just have your kids. What about that woman? Or you just finding women that can have kids, or
of course, like kind of track her behavior, things like that for a while, for a bit before, and then
this nigga crazy.
so how do you?
Sorry, that was out loud.
No? How do you what?
So how do you know? So you know your swimmers work? You've gotten them checked?
Oh, I know. So I know it works.
Oh, that don't mean shit, bro.
It doesn't. Yeah, that it could work that one time.
Well,
if you ever heard of secondary infertility,
yeah, that's actually a big thing. Like you realize that all those people having one kid, you think because they wanted it? No,
I never thought that far.
Yeah, you take one. You can have just one. I know a lot of people who had they've done everything under the sun, medically sound, everything, but it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. That's called second infertility. Yep.
Well, I know for a fact. Let's just put
that one.
I know for a fact that I can have multiple kids if I so choose.
Okay. Yeah. So you'll make sure that whoever your significant other with can have multiple kids as well, because you can't pay for the IVF. That's not happening.
Of course. I mean, I don't.
Now you gotta make sure y'all two are compatible too. That's the other thing, because when it take, will it stay?
Yeah.
What's your risk? What's your rhesus factor?
Hello.
So I know this is not, but this is a little bit off the brand, but I know that there are a lot of people out here that have they're having sex unprotected and they just don't get pregnant. And so I just think that that's just not that's something that that should let people know that it's not that easy to get pregnant, because people that's some people's lifestyle.
So you see with that, right? Some people always go, "Oh man, pull-out game strong. Oh man, this and the third, birth controls, all these different factors that, lead to that." But because you asked that, I had a question earlier, which was, so when you are younger as a woman, your ovaries shoot out more eggs, and the older you get, it shoots out less?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
But the thing is that it depends on woman to woman. So, I mean, she has the baby now, but I had a friend she was 40, and they said that she had the ovarian reserve of a 91-year-old, which meant like she was like depleted. And so she had no idea that that's what was going on in her body because she never checked. She never thought anything about it. I had a friend who she got pregnant when she was like maybe 18, and still like into her. So when her second marriage, she like never had children. She just never thought about it. And she had like, and the reason was because she had like fibroids the size of golf, like of grapefruits in her stomach, and that's why she wasn't getting pregnant. But she had no idea that was what was caused. So like, we can't go, kind of like T was saying, we can't go to the doctor and the doctor tell us these things. The only time a woman knows that there's something wrong with her reproductive system is when she's trying to get pregnant and it doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we're not out there trying to get pregnant.
So speaking of, the insurance thing that Steve was talking about, or you guys were saying include all these different things in insurance. As a woman, as a girl, right? Are we saying that there is no way you can go to the doctors and they tell you that as you grow up you are fertile or you are impotent? There's no way to check that?
No. Rephrase that question.
Oh no, there is. So like, if you did check that, it was probably, you would have to pay for it. And who knows how much that costs. The only time the doctor checks for these things is if you aren't pregnant. And even after that, you have to be trying for 2 years and nothing happened. So like, if you're over the age of 35, over the age of 33, you have to be trying for 2 years. If you're under 33, you had to be trying for 3 years and nothing happened for them to start getting tested and qualify for like IVF. So it's only when, some people, they tend to pay the money because it's worth it to them and get these services paid for these services out of pocket. So like, they want to
know how couples, before they get married, some of them go check if they are sickle cell carriers, right?
Yeah.
So we're saying that people don't check to know if, let's say, your husband swimmers work or your wife's.
No.
Your wife even has a.
No, because it's an extra cost that they're not looking at.
The only time they check is when something's wrong. They can't figure out why they aren't having a baby.
But if we are talking about the future,
I know it's crazy, ain't it?
But that's because, like I said before, people think it's easy to have a baby.
Mm-hmm. So you don't know that stuff until you actually, like she said, until you go get checked, because that's a lot. Like that fibroids thing is it's really common in women, and you won't even know that until you actually go check. Like I had an aunt that she had fibroids. My family has a history of fibroids and stuff, so it's like she didn't even know that she was pregnant because she thought the kid was the fibroid. Lord and behold, the kid was hiding behind, the fibroid. Yeah. So it's like, you don't know those stuff until you actually go and get checked. But like Trace was saying, I'm not about to sit here and find all that stuff out until I'm actually ready to have, until I'm actually.
You don't think about
it. Sometimes it's not even something as crazy as fibroid, right? Something as common as endometriosis.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Which we sorry.
Give me that.
So it's, how do I explain? So endometriosis, it's an illness, for lack of better word. It's an illness that some women have, where their uterine walls, their eggs, their lining in their uterine wall, their eggs shed outside or something like that. So there are different causes for it. There's no specific cause. I don't think medically the research. It affects people differently, but all we know is that it affects your fertility,
your pregnancy, and it's painful.
Yes,
and it gives people some people a lot of women who haven't checked. Again, sometimes we're not checking for these things until we're checking for them, right? So some women who have a lot of painful menstrual cycles, some have endometriosis. And you're not checking for that unless you actually go to the doctor and they're trying to figure out why you're having painful menstrual cramps.
Yeah.
Then you can get diagnosed with endometriosis. So it's one of those things where you can't win.
Or it's PCOS.
Yes.
That's about to say
PCOS is another one. That's a really
So they
big
have
one.
to actively be checking to see it.
Yeah.
So you guys are saying that if you have fibroids in your stomach, those stones, you cannot tell. Like you cannot feel them, you cannot tell, and you only can know two ways: if it really hurts or if the doctors check.
Yes. So so that's another, because when I was getting my eggs frozen, they used to give me ultrasounds. And so, you hear about fibroids, and I had a friend that had all his fibroids. The doctor goes, "Oh, you got a little fibroid right there." And I go, "A little fibroid?" Like, I was panicking. But apparently women have, we have them. But it's when they get to a certain size that they are, they can affect your fertility. And so I actually had an OBGYN recently who told me to get my fibroids removed. And even though that they were small, because she was just like, if you're going to ever use your eggs, they're going to want them to be cleared out
the way.
Right. So I, I was reading and I heard so many different things about getting your fibroids removed, especially when they're very small. So when I finally went to the specialist, he was just like, "Why would you do that?" He was just like, "Do they hurt?" And I was just like, "No." And he was just like, "Why would you take your body through this surgery if this is something, if you want, don't mess with your uterus if you still want to," is what he told me.
Yeah.
She told me just to clear it out. So you even in the medical world, there's different schools of thought as to women and their reproductive health and what's the best for children. So you gotta when people have children, it is really like a blessing for God. I think we underestimate how much of a blessing it is, because you don't know what's going on until you actually know what's going on.
Going around walking around with one ovary and you don't even know it.
Hello.
What a black fallopian tube and you don't even know.
Yeah.
Wondering why.
So many reasons.
So many.
Yeah. You got people out here walking with no uterus. You getting your hysterectomy because you can't. Yeah, it's crazy out here.
And you don't even know until something doesn't work. And so think about if you've always been safe, always use protection, whatever. You get married and 2 years in, you're like, wait a minute, I'm not pregnant yet. What's going on? And, the doctor tells you, oh, eat this, do this, make sure your temperature is this, your basal body temperature.
Basal temperature.
Yeah, you're doing all these tricks for make sure you take the, and so that's when most when you have to take that. There's something that people take, because one of my friends was taking, you take something and it tells you when you're ovulating, right? And so, and then you have sex at that time, the perfect time, and it still doesn't happen. Then you start to go to the doctor and what's going on? But it's not only until then that
Too much. It's a lot. STDs. People out here raw dogging. STDs lead to infertility too.
Exactly. So all that.
And you can have all that going, and then the hormones are like, hello, we're off balance.
Yeah. So, I think that, in this whole conversation, I think it's really important that we need fertility empowerment as women. We don't know a lot about our bodies. The doctors, the way the medical system is set up, I feel like if men get to test their prostate, why can't we test our fertility?
Hello.
We still begging them to test their prostate.
I know, but at least they can do it, and the medical
covers. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
So the only one thing that the medical insurance is paying, that you guys want to crucify us. Wow.
I'm just saying,
because y'all don't have too much going on for you,
right?
Yeah, that's true though.
I agree.
I mean, with all these things, all right, Trace, bring it full circle for me. What advice can you give out to young women, or just to your younger self about this whole egg freezing process?
I wish I would have done it sooner. I do wish I would have done it sooner. I feel that after it did, it was just like a load lifted off of me.
Mm.
I just didn't feel the pressure of life as much anymore, and I think that's a great feeling to have, and I wish I would have had that feeling earlier, like the freedom, yeah, the empowerment.
So what about advice to men?
Say what? We cannot hear you.
I'm saying, what about advice to men?
Advice to men.
Have an open mind.
Yes, have an open mind and like understand that. What can I say?
Be gentle with it. It's not only during sex.
Right. So yeah, understand that like a fertility journey is very sacred and it has many moving pieces and like you're shooting, but a female's not always in the state to catch. And to really understand what that means. It's not just because you're old or because you've had to like I just feel like women like men don't understand fertility enough, female fertility. They just think that because they're throwing out sperm, we're supposed to catch it and get pregnant. But it takes a lot from a woman. Like we plan these things. We have to plan these things. They have to be the just right time, just right day of the month. Like, and I just think that they overlook how much thought we put into being able to produce and give them children.
We don't overlook it. We just know it's your responsibility. God, I'm going to argue with that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's everyone's responsibility because we couldn't have children without you.
Of course not. I'm playing my part, so you gotta play your own.
Yeah, right. So, but I think that but you got to understand how the important part we play, and I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, my last question: you have kids, right? Hypothetically, you have kids. Your daughter comes up to you, "Hey, mommy, Trace. I'm at an age where I'm thinking I gotta freeze my eggs because I got all these plans I got ahead of me that I want to do, I want to execute, and I feel like this is putting so much pressure on me." Mm-hmm. Telling your daughter.
What am I telling my daughter? I'm going to tell her that, life sometimes.
Oh, by the way, she's 19 years old.
She's 19 years old. I would tell her to wait until she's 30.
Okay.
To decide if that's what she wanted to. Because at 19, like, you don't know what your life can change so fast. I would tell her to wait until she's 30. But don't wait until she's 35. So I would say like between the ages of 30 and 35, decide what you want to do.
What is it about 30 to 35?
I just think that, I don't know. I just feel like you're more understanding about what's happening in life. And I also feel like it's better to save them earlier than later. So like to wait until like you're 40 to freeze your eggs, like why are you doing that? You might as well do IVF, right? But then what if you don't have a partner and you don't want to do IVF and you don't want to be a single mom? So I think that if you're not in a relationship by 33, you know that it might be a little bit harder to meet someone. So you might as well have your guarantee. I think you already know by 33, like, or 35, what's going on in your life. So like when I was 30, I think I was 35, like 36 when I started to like contemplate it, and I finally did at 37. Like I knew that, this last relationship didn't quite work out. Let me make sure that like I have this guarantee that I will be able to have as many children when I want to when the time comes. Because like that's another unnecessary stress in a relationship that I don't want to have when I get there.
That's nice. Anyways, for us guys, I'm gonna just say, let's just stop picking on so much that we can chew on. So yeah, just pick on what you can chew. Take the right amount that you can chew on and keep moving. So what I'm really saying is, if for me, for example, I meet a lady, as Tracey, and she discloses this information. The few encounters of ours, don't wait till 3 years and say, oh man, something's going to change, when you within that moment that it's not something that you want to do. You know what I mean? Just make your point there, clear yourself from whatever it is, I don't know, heartache, or I don't know, whatever it is, that how you put it, and just move on. And I think that will make a better society, because expecting everybody to understand it, yeah, it's going to be, because even me, after this, I forgot to watch this whole episode again to understand certain things, because you've seen
Right.
I'm like, yeah, that just sounds like a lot of work that I don't want to partake in, but things happen. So, I guess that's our conclusions, and then we'll go to your word of the day, and then T can close us out.
Well, thank you, Trace, for coming on, because this was really informative, and this was like really, I heard, like I said, I heard about it, but I didn't really know too much about it. And now going forward, looking forward, because like I said, this dating, is ghetto out here in these streets. So at this point, might have to kind of contemplate about what I'm going to do. But thank you, like I said, for coming in and telling us the real deal about your journey, and just being very vocal and open to sharing that. So that's really mine. And it's, the best. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's all about the women and the bees and the fertility. So shout out to you on that.
Well, that's one thing they do. Insurance will pay for is a mammogram.
That's true.
Right. So, but they need to work on that.
Something that I can start in my bathroom. That's what they want.
Hello. Hello. But yeah, so that's my conclusion for the day.
What's a mammogram?
Wow. Check your breast tissues for any cancerous.
Okay. Yeah, I need to bring some things. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. What's your conclusion?
Just
Oh, that was your conclusion? Okay, Tracey, anything else you want to add, say that we haven't mentioned?
I just think that, everyone has their own journey, and it should, to motherhood, and those journeys should be respected, whether it's getting IVF, whether it's surrogacy, whether it's adoption, whether it's being a first foster mom. Like, everyone has their own journey. We don't know anyone's fertility by looking at them. So we just need to do one of my friends said it best, we need to mind our own wombs. It's not your business. If a woman wants to share, she will. Like, I am privy enough, so I am sharing. But because we all go through so many things, and we as women, we all want to have children, but God gives us children in different ways. So you should mind your own womb, and don't ask. We will tell. So, and that's what don't ask a woman about her fertility or when she's having children. They'll tell you if they want you to know.
That was part of my conclusions. So, please stop. We already know what I'm against, right? I know my age. I know my clock. I already know all that. So please don't come asking me no stupid questions, okay? Right. Don't. I'm not worried, so you shouldn't either. And don't bring that pressure on me. Yeah. Because you will take it right back with you, okay? Not all of us are pressed for things like that. So mind your damn business and fuck them kids.
Clock that tea. Clock that. Go, girl.
I'm sorry, no kids here because
say what?
I said I'm sorry. There's no fuck them kids here because nobody said that to you. So if they said that to you, you will not be here. And second of all, it's my right to ask anybody about it because God made me a good Samaritan and I'm doing the Lord's work. It's a yes or no. Just say yes or no and we keep this moving. You want to make it complicated? By all means, please do so. I am here for it.
Well, I think at the end of it depends on how you ask, right? Yeah. There's a difference between asking and womb watching. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
If you ask, say what now?
Good Samaritan will watch your womb Telling you.
No, we're watching. That's witchcraft.
That's what
That's like pocket watching. You don't want nobody in your pocket.
That's a monitoring spirit.
Yes, you don't want people in your pocket. So why are you in women's business?
Mm-hmm.
Because I want
and even to women too. Don't be in other women's business.
Well, we are all in each other's business in somehow, some way, shape, or form. So this one is different. So,
it's just like violence. He's just trying to troll. That's what it's really giving for real.
It's not. I'm not trolling. I'm for real. Because some people still come and ask me the same question. No problem. I'll answer yes or no. I keep it moving. I'm just saying that.
That's because you haven't dealt with the trauma of having to say no. I went to a baby shower. The same people I was talking about that waited for 6 years, and the way that the guy cried and was just like, thank you guys for not he was just like, after 2 years people stopped asking, and he was just like, he was so thankful that people stopped asking because it made them waiting a little bit more bearable. He was to tears. A guy.
I believe that.
Sorry for him, but this is still life now. People ask.
No, like, people need to be sensitive. Like, if it's been 2 years, especially if you're African and the baby hasn't come, just shut your mouth and them, instead of asking, pray for the people.
I'm praying and I'm still asking because.
Okay, we have heard you.
Me asking means I have to pray better. You know, there's something that I have to repeat that I'm not putting. So me asking, I might get some nuances including my. I refuse not to ask. Because again, sometimes they say that what you don't know. I mean, sometimes they say if you don't ask, you will not know. So if I ask that first time, you tell me.
No, you know.
In that case, you don't need to know.
No, exactly. Even all the African songs say when the wedding songs, they be like, in 9 months,
9 months time,
a baby. Yes, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get married and a baby. So if the baby doesn't come for 2 years, you know there's something wrong. Then you don't ask anymore.
Or maybe they don't want kids. Yeah. People don't think about that.
I don't want kids now. Like it's not a secret. Just say I don't want kids.
Why they have to say it though? But why they gotta say it?
Why do they have to say it?
Why do they have to say that? I don't want
Why kids? Do you care? Why do you care about me, my kids?
You invited me to your wedding. I came and sat there, and so I don't.
Okay, you came to the wedding. You came to
ask about the wedding.
You didn't come for the kid. You came for the wedding.
I came to share in this holy matrimony and everything.
Right. To eat and drink.
And that holy matrimony didn't want no kids. It's not that.
I am a living testimony that God joined these two people because I was here. So anything that happens here, I belong in that conversation. Now, however you guys get the kids, not my problem. But are you guys getting kids? Yes, we are. No, we don't want kids. Now, what's so hard?
You know what? Speaking of Oversabi, Tutu, please give us word of the week. Add to his knowledge some more.
Yeah. The word of the week should be diabolical because so he's so serious.
Very problematic.
I'm not being problematic. You guys just want to look at it from a non-problematic and sensitive standpoint. But
no, I'm not being like, I can't look at it any other way.
It's a question.
Because it is
diabolical.
The fact that it's a question does not mean that it's not a sensitive one.
Yes.
Too sensitive, man.
Hold on, because I need to change the word now.
Some people need to just relax on certain things, man. Like I get that. Yes, it's hard. I get that some things are hard, but again, just like that one, there are so many other things that are hard in life that people ask about and people still have to disclose. So what makes that so special?
No, they don't have to disclose. They choose to.
Well, yeah,
they choose to. That's a difference. And it's my story. I reserve the right to share or not. It's not your business. You don't have any right whatsoever to ask.
Of course, I do. Actually, I do.
No, you do not.
I do.
You do not.
Do you share everything that you got going on?
No, I don't. But again, what I'm saying is you have the right to ask anything you want to ask. And I have the right to not answer anything I don't want to answer.
No, you don't. There's something called boundaries.
Boundaries, yes.
What's the boundary?
Okay, you know what? Go to work and ask your boss about fertility. How about that? Go and ask your boss. Let's see.
Guidelines put at work for that.
Say what?
There are guidelines they set at work for that.
Oh, why do you care about the guidelines?
Why
Don't you have rights?
Guidelines with the people that you
Don't you have rights?
I don't have that with the people I'm around. That's what I'm saying. If I'm at work legitly, and I feel like I've built a rapport with my coworker, I'm asking that goddamn question.
But they have that but what if the people that you're around, they have that boundary? So you're saying that you're willing to cross that boundary because you don't care.
I'm not saying that I don't care. This is what I said. I will ask you that question. You have the choice to say yes or no. Now, if you had mentioned before that you don't want that question, like you guys are saying right now, I have no business asking that. But if I don't know that, please, by all means, I'm no mind reader, and I'm not going with a general stance that all women do not want a man to ask my question, because that's stupid.
Oh no, you're.
Oh, that you did not just say that. You did.
No, yeah.
You know what? This argument will not end. To give us
word of the week.
It won't. It won't.
That is a very insensitive thing to say.
I'm asking the question still, though.
Okay.
All right. Well, this week's word of the week is miscegenation. It's miscegenation. Huh?
What's the meaning?
Miscegenation, it's a noun. It's spelled miscegenation. And the definition is the mixing of races, especially in terms of marriage, cohabitation, or sexual. Yeah, you gotta like that. Yep. The mixing of races, especially in terms of marriage, cohabitation, or sexual intercourse between a white person and a person of different ethnic racial group. And using a sentence, it was going to be for MCJD, but you're not talking so.
Run that definition.
Go ahead and give it again.
It's mixing. It's
just mixing races, interracial.
Yeah, interracial.
Yeah. So the mixing of races, especially in terms of marriage, cohabitation, or sexual intercourse between a white person and a person of a different ethnic or racial group.
That's crazy that there's a word that's just to describe the racial mixing of white people.
You know what?
So, the sentence that I had was, there's one person on this podcast that's unusually triggered by the amount of miscegenation he sees with pro athletes and entertainers, but he's not here. So
that's a good one.
Shade.
I see that. So
but yeah, so use that word of the week. Use the word. If we see a lot of it actually with these athletes and these ballers and these
So not in the athlete's defense, because I have she's mixed. But a lot of times when these athletes go to these like really, really white schools, and
that's
who's there to, like, my cousin went to Villanova and there wasn't many black girls there, and so his girlfriend is mixed, but
that is true. This is very
what it is.
We see this guy who appears to be urban in their outward look, but like they really like have been brought up in like prep schools and around all of these white girls. So white girls is what has been normalized to them.
That's very much true. Yeah, I didn't think about it like that, because when you do have these people that play ball, they go to like Alabama or Auburn, and those are like, the PWIs.
And even before that, they didn't go to regular high school. They were like at the best.
They went to those private schools. Yeah, that's true. You know what's great?
The rappers like Jeezy, you ain't had a black girlfriend since you was selling mixtapes out your car.
That's true. Now look where that got him.
Exactly. You see,
that got him. It's crazy. You know what's crazy? I wanted to bring. I don't know if y'all heard. Just to throw this in here real quick, huh?
Look where that got him. Did we just talk about DJ Mustard? Where did his guy get him?
She's black though.
I mean, you said look at where.
Jenny Mae is not black.
Go your thingy. just go with what I said earlier. Just go.
I don't know if y'all saw it, but Big Tigger having a baby. Y'all know who Big Tigger is? His girlfriend. Big Tigger. He's
Is his girlfriend white?
No, she's black. She's an attorney. Yeah. Huh?
She young or older?
Who, the girl?
Yeah. Is he marrying a man?
Big Tigger's old.
And that's why I brought it up, because I'm like, I could have sworn I thought this man had kids already, but he doesn't have any kids. And he made a post today saying like, "Oh, I guess you're having my baby." And the girl like baby shoes.
Yeah, because he's way older than me.
Big Tigger. Let's see. Big Tigger is. If you guys don't know who Big Tigger is, because he looking like who that? He's like
1 to 6 apart. One of the first hosts.
Yeah, he used to be a host like on BT. Like he's like a real.
Yeah, but he used to like when I was little, he was on the radio in DC.
Yeah, so he was on 95.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on there. But he's like a big like radio personality influencer. He's 51.
Congrats to him. How old is the girl though?
I don't know. Let's find out. I don't know.
I know because it ties to this fertility thing. Please have a hell of.
But I'm pretty sure she gotta be like a little bit younger. But
yeah, I'm sure she's like
a little bit.
And she gotta be in like, she looks like she gotta be in like her early 40s, and not early 40s, late 40s.
Oh, she's that old?
Huh?
She's that old?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I could. She's okay. There you go. I don't know if y'all can see her, but
no, not really. Does it say her age?
That's her.
Yeah, she doesn't look young.
She doesn't. Yeah, she got to be in like her. It's giving like 40s.
Yeah, like Kenny Lattimore, like Judge Faith. I don't know. I actually don't know. I think she did a regular pregnancy, but that Faith, whoever's married to Kenny Lattimore, she had a baby older, not old but older, and I think she had hers natural. So yeah.
Yeah, they can miss me with all that. I'm not fighting age and dragging pregnancy. No, miss me with all that.
Like I said, like the lady at my job who was 50 and pregnant, like, wow.
Nope.
She turned 52 and her baby just turned 1. I mean, she don't look 52, but I mean, she's just so happy. But like she said, she got married when she was 43, right? And she said she was a teacher, so she never desired children. She just one day she was just like, I think I want to have a kid. And that's when she was 49 and she started.
People are like really making not having kids like a norm. Like my cousin, I was having a conversation yesterday, and this girl really sat here and was like, I don't want kids. Like, I want to be that rich auntie. And I was just sitting here like, wow, like, let your father and my father go and hear this what you're really saying. Like, and she was just okay with it. But I had to be okay with it to like, okay, that's your decision. Like, that's what you want to do.
I wish more people would be that honest about it.
Yeah.
Instead of having kids.
Right. That's true.
I cannot hear you.
How old is your cousin?
Lima is, I'm 30. Lima's 29.
Okay.
Yeah, she's 29. And homegirl was like, I'm not trying to have no kids. Like, I don't have no kids. I'm not thinking about kids. Like, it's not even on my radar.
Good for her.
She's American, but she does not want any kids. And she just got married. People like, oh, you're going to have, she's like, nope, no kids.
My cousin is also the same way too. She had a dog and she said her dog is her kid. I said, oh.
No, don't piss me off with that.
I'm just saying that there. We're saying that some people should not ask certain questions. Okay, fine. When you make a decision like that, and somebody makes it, don't wait till you 50, and you go, oh, I'm starting to have baby fever. Oh, this, and expect somebody to be sensitive to that. No.
I mean, people change their minds. Like, look at Jeannie Mai.
Okay, people are allowed to change their mind.
When she had her first person, like, she didn't want any kids. And then when she got with Jeezy, all of a sudden she wanted a kid.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Now they're fighting over her.
See,
at first she didn't want no kids.
The same way as you want me to be sensitive then, I wish you two could have been sensitive now to what my concerns are now, right? But later on in life, you want me to be sensitive to yours. No problem.
But how does that? How do your concerns affect that?
Why are you going with that?
For example, here's what I'm saying. Wait. Hear me out. Here's what I'm saying. Right now, you're making a decision right now. Let's say, for example, my sister wakes up and tells me, oh, I don't want kids. Okay, fine. No problem. Why not? Right? And we're having these conversations. So as she's getting older and older, and she's about to get married, for example, and her husband says, I don't want kids either, and they get married happily. 5 years down the road, for example, she wakes up and she tells me, "Oh, I'm having baby fever. Oh, I want to have kids. Oh, this," and she says, "Oh, my husband is not." You want me to be?
That has happened to some couples. That's happened to some couples. One of the people changes their mind, and they're like, "What's supposed to happen?"
I mean, I'm just saying that for me, at that point in time, I cannot feel empathy or feel sorry. That's just.
How does that concern you, though?
Huh?
How does that concern you, though?
You should not tell me. You should not tell me. Don't concern me. Tell me.
So the moral of the story is don't tell
Don't tell him nothing.
Don't tell AK anything. That's it. That's it. Because
if you change your mind, you're on your own.
Already part of your stress, and then you come out. The stress of the stress, you just all of a sudden turn around. No,
that's why you need to mind your own business, AK. We're trying to help you out.
Yeah, I was minding my business, but it came to me.
But you were asking questions. You don't. Do you ask questions?
No. You cannot come and tell me something
sweet. So if you're asking questions and somebody's not answering your questions, you all of a sudden. That's not your business. You made it your business now. Right, so now somebody comes back to tell you that, oh, I want to do the opposite of what I said. You can't sit here and be like, oh, I don't want to hear about it because you made it your business when you decided to ask me questions when you didn't have a choice to ask me questions.
Came to me to come and tell me, you know what I mean? Because I was not asking in the first place. But now since you're telling me, oh, I got questions. I have questions, you know. Anyways, let's close. This part. We're just talking. It's not important. Betty, please go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, so thanks for hanging out with us. Today's episode, we talked about fertility, women reproduction. Trace was gracious enough to share her story, her egg freezing journey. We debacled on some things. Some people don't want to change their mind and stay insensitive, but all in all, it was a great conversation. We highly recommend that you stay informed, be empowered. Even as we've spoken, again, this was just an informal information. We recommend, getting yourself acquainted with the process before you start. Talk to people. And like Tracey said, every journey is unique. So just know that yours is just as heroic as any other. So thanks, Trace, for coming on here and being vulnerable and sharing your powerful story with us. Hope to come next time and we can talk about other important things too.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is fun.
And before I forget, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share. This episode is sponsored by Stuck in the Middle podcast. Hit us up on all streaming platforms, social media at Stuck in the Middle SITM podcast. Also, EWC podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and what's that Elon Musk app? That one. Yes, hit us there. We see you watching. Make sure you drop a like, a comment, share. And if you have any unique stories or you just want to chop it up with us, send us a DM. Don't be shy. Because when we get famous, trust me, you will pay to come on here, okay? Just Anyways, thanks for watching as always, supporting us. And like Uncle AK says, we outie.